Hello and welcome to Cornish Walking Trails. Today we're in Penzance. Our walk today comes from Town Walks in Cornwall. It's walk number 13, Penzance, 2 miles. Penzance is the most westerly town in Cornwall. Our walk starts in front of the Humphrey Davy statue. Humphrey Davy is famous for the miner's safety lamp, and it tells us here there's a plaque very helpfully. It says he was born in 1778 in Penzance.
One thing I do know about Sir Humphrey Davy, so when he was born here in Penzance, but his family were from Ludgvan. So we're going to Ludgvan churchyard up there, you'll find the graves of his dad and his mum. But she was really annoyed that he was born in Penzance.
Oh, why?
Because it was like market day and she came to Penzance and she was heavily pregnant and she couldn't wait any longer, and he was born in Penzance.
Not in Ludgvan.
So Penzance's favourite son kind of happened by accident.
Oh,
yeah.
So Humphrey Davy, the most famous son of Penzance, was one of the leading scientists of the 19th century. He was born in Penzance in 1778 and at the age of 16 apprenticed to a local doctor. Davy is remembered now for his work on the miner's safety lamp, which bears his name. I adore this in Penzance. The pavements are the old original granite, raised up above the road, and you've got these wonderful little steps every now and again that lead you up to the pavement height. Our first instruction is to leave Humphrey Davy with him on your left, walking along the raised pavement with Market House on your left and shops to the right. At the end of the building, go left. Call yourself a professional?
Yeah.
You haven't said anything about the car park in here in Penzance.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of car parks in Penzance.
I'd watch out as well because about 6 foot away from you. Oh yeah. Do you want your saffron bun for breakfast or no?
Right, if you want this video to be any good, I need that.
Coffee.
And I need that.
Saffron bun.
And then I'll be alright.
We'll give you 5. He's very interested. Feeling better?
I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm now in a car park.
Yes.
So this seems quite appropriate. So I've noticed that the car parks in the centre of town are short stay and more expensive. Car parks slightly outside are longer stay and they're cheaper.
Yes.
And there is a very, very big car park down near the station area.
And there's a cheaper car park at Alverton.
Anyway, I'm right, pro. Ready for this now. Come on.
Go!
I'm pumped.
So we're now in Chapel Street. Chapel Street, the book says look up at the buildings, and there's one just over there, the Egyptian house. Isn't it fabulous?
So much history crammed into this one street.
Yeah, is it the oldest street in Penzance?
I think it is. If you find yourself in Penzance, you have to walk down Chapel Street.
It's my favourite actually. So we're looking up at the Egyptian house, one of the most famous houses in Penzance. Isn't it just divine? I think the more you look at this building, the more you see. If you look, the windows are not regular, they're not rectangles. The one in the middle is way higher than the one each side. So what does that mean inside? Is it a taller room in the middle? And that precludes another window in the middle at the top. But it's well made up for with the eagle and everything else up there. Look at it. Each pane is a different shape and a different size. It's unique. It's amazing. So we have Cornish Curiosities book with us, and it tells us about the Egyptian house here in Penzance. And it says it's one of the most unusual and colourful house facades in the whole of Great Britain, and it's here in Chapel Street in Penzance. Its flamboyance is accentuated by ornate lotus columns, stylised corniches and sphinx-like decoration. It was designed in 1835 by John Fulston of Plymouth in a style that was briefly fashionable after Napoleon's 1798 campaign in Egypt. It may be a copy of an Egyptian hall built in Piccadilly in 1812, but the architect was inspired by the temple at Dendra in Egypt. I think I can count about 5 different paint colours. You've got the gold, dark brown, the green, and then the paler yellow, the beige. Imagine painting that. It really makes you smile though, doesn't it? I think it's beautiful. So that's quite an impressive house, isn't it?
Do you know the person that had this commissioned? When they first arrived and they looked at it, because they hadn't seen it before, they just arrived and looked at it. They actually couldn't believe it was real, what they were looking at.
They must have been blown away, mustn't they?
They were actually in denial.
That's quite good actually.
All right.
Chapel Street for me holds a little extra family history because my nan actually worked in a shop down here, stationers in Chapel Street, and it's just down here, so I've got to film it. I think she was about 18, 19 when she worked here, many years ago. They're hiring. I could work here. It could go full circle. They're hiring.
That? Oh really? You get a job? They wouldn't have you.
Good rates of pay and share of tips for the right candidate.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have to practice my waitressing skills.
You tip it.
As you look down Chapel Street, every building is different. You've got the Georgian bowed windows, you've got Georgian 3-storey townhouses, and look at this one, beautiful. A brick building, quite unusual for Cornwall. Over 3 levels. I don't know if it'd be fair to actually name one as your favourite building. They're all so beautiful.
So Sarah, one of the lanes coming off Chapel Street is called Custom House Lane.
Yeah.
And the building behind you is called the Old Customs House. Now this is important because in the late 18th century Penzance was pretty much run by smugglers, but the customs men were actually based on the same street as where the smuggling operation was going on, which was down at the Admiral Benbow pub, which is at the end of the street. Wow, right under their noses.
Now, was it under their noses or were they part of it? Turk's Head.
I love the Turk's Head, it's a brilliant pub.
We used to meet you for lunch.
We did, yes. So before we were married, I used to work in Penzance and used to drive down, and we used to have lunch down, usually on a Friday, wasn't it?
Friday afternoon.
Yeah. Now we go out filming for YouTube on a Friday afternoon. Madness.
Are we having lunch in the Turk's Head?
It's not open yet, but yeah, maybe later. Well, all the years I've been going to the Turk's Head, I never ever knew it was the oldest pub in Penzance.
No!
13th century.
Good grief.
Yeah. I say it's an unusual name.
Yeah.
Talking of unusual names, opposite the Admiral Benbow pub.
What do you know about that then?
It's a fantastic pub, isn't it? It's a smuggler's pub, a
It
proper smuggler's pub. So the pub behind me, Sarah, the Admiral Benbow, it's one of the most famous pubs in Penzance, and in the 1770s this was the heart of the smuggling operation here in Penzance. The gang that controlled this pub, or used it as their base, were called the Benbow Brandymen. And the leader of the gang is represented on the roof. See the character on the roof?
Yeah.
It's called Octavius Lanyon, and it depicts a famous raid on the pub by the customs men. So he climbed up onto the roof to cause a diversion, and he was actually shot.
Oh no!
And he was severely injured. I don't think he died, but he was injured, and that's what the character on the roof represents.
Oh, I see. I never knew that.
Well, there we go.
Oh, fantastic! Look at him up there. And that's why I love doing this channel. You just find out so many little quirky features, don't you? I love it.
It's brilliant.
In our book today that we're being guided by, it says the chocolate house from around 1700 was once a thatched fisherman's cottage. Before serving as a confectioner's shop and cafe in the 19th century, the name derived from its more recent use as a source of handmade chocolates with a cafe. It's now a holiday home.
I'm sure I've made this gag before, Sarah, but the chocolate house in today's weather, there ain't going to be much of it left at the end of the day.
Might melt.
Maybe.
Everybody would be down here taking a bit, wouldn't they? The house across the street here, that was owned by Maria and Elizabeth Bramwell, who were the mother and aunt of the Brontes.
Okay, I think there's something wrong with us.
Why?
We spend all day in graveyards or just looking at buildings.
We're not looking at churches today.
No.
There will be no church in this one. We're going to go straight through.
But the building we've just been looking at, which was owned by the mother and aunt of the Brontes.
Yeah.
So that's a brick building, and what a fabulous building it is.
Yeah.
But the two which are connected, well, to the right-hand side of it,
As a row.
they were obviously built at the same time,
Yeah.
but they're different.
Yeah. So that one's been stripped back, hasn't it? To reveal the brick facade. Whereas this one's still got the original, potentially original facade. And then you've got like a 1930s makeover with a pebble dash on the end one. And they're all slightly different.
I know which one I prefer.
Which?
The brick one.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think it's fabulous.
Oh, do you?
I love the little openings into the basement, the little shuttered
Yeah.
entrance there.
Yeah. Have you
Fascinating.
noticed that the little decorative brickwork that's above the first or ground floor windows goes wonky at the end?
I love a bit of wonkiness on a building. Gives it character.
It does.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? It's that mine shaft opening up.
I hope you find buildings as fascinating as we do. Once they've been made over, they reveal things, they hide things, it creates a lot of interest.
I think they just absorb history as well.
Yeah.
You can see how they've changed over the years, isn't it? It's trying to pick out the original bits.
I guess.
Is this you not going into a church?
Yeah.
Cut. Very impressive church, isn't it? Dominates the
Huge.
skyline, especially I would have said if you're actually arriving into Penzance by sea. It's one of the most prominent things. That and the market house where we started our
Yeah.
walk. Those are the two things that you spot, isn't it? This is from the 1830s. I think there was a church here before that, and it was built at that time, but it obviously reflects the size of the town that was here at that point and the congregation. I think they had a fire in the 1980s here, and it destroyed quite a lot inside, because I've just had a quick look inside and it's quite modern inside, with a ceiling, and the actual gallery looks beautiful.
And that's what's responsible really for giving Penzance its name. It's always been a holy place at the end of the headland, which is what Penzance means. And this wonderful, unique architecture, with every property being a little bit different, continues. We're now approaching the Jubilee Pool, originally an outdoor lido, built when? 1930?
1935.
Oh, how do you know that?
Because it's the Jubilee of King George.
The Jubilee Pool was opened in 1935, Silver Jubilee of George V, on a site traditionally used as a swimming place. It was built to withstand the elements to which it was exposed as a Grade 2 listed building. So it says here the pool suffered significant damage during the storms of February 2014. Reopened in May 2016 following major structural works to anchor the pool to the rock bed, repair and stabilise the walls, changing cubicles and terraces, upgrade the electrical system and replace the paving and handrails.
They look so happy.
I would be today. It's recently been renovated and they've put in a hot rocks project, and a small part of the outdoor pool now is heated by thermal energy from the centre of the earth.
I've heard about this, it sounds fascinating.
Yeah, you've got a small amount of the pool that's heated up to about 34, 35 degrees.
Wow, I'd like to say that's really cool. But it's not, is it? It's hot stuff.
No, you just
Yeah.
do what the kids do, just do the opposite. It's sick. We're obviously here way too early to go in. It's not open yet. It's warm. I wouldn't say no today.
Yeah, I'd even be tempted today.
Yeah.
I ain't got my cosy though.
No, nor have I.
Oh well, that would frighten people off, wouldn't it?
Might have a go in there once all the visitors have left. Maybe book it for September, eh?
Sarah, it's a coaster. I've got to film it.
The book now describes the wonderful views of St Michael's Mount.
We normally do gate leaning, Sarah.
I know, but this is a very nice place to lean. Fabulous view. Helicopter's just taken off to entertain us. Some sort of tall ship in the harbour.
Oh wow, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
And a stunning view across the bay to St Michael's Mount. What could be better?
No, just leave my sunglasses on.
So the helicopter here, if you know the area, is regular flights out to the Isles of Scilly.
Isn't it meant to be the most expensive per minute flight in the world?
I think it probably is. But what a flight!
I know.
So Sarah, wall leaning, good?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that the rocks here are called battery rocks?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, they're down here. And as well as people swimming in Jubilee Pool, they swim off battery rocks as well.
And fish, I'd imagine.
I think they do. Some people say this is a highly charged area. If you had an ice cream, would you have positive vibes?
Oh, I would certainly be charged.
Okay.
A fortune.
Do I need to go in the cell?
Let's go and find out about that ship. I'm curious. What do you know about the harbour?
Well, it's actually called the Quay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and there was a very useful information board at the front there. Basically, it was working in the 1500s.
Wow.
It's quite old. There's a lighthouse on the very end.
Yes, I did notice that.
That's from 1855, and it replaced the previous lighthouse.
Have you seen the pirate ship behind you?
That one?
Yes.
Oh no.
Gonna come and eat you.
Most boats, when they need to be repaired, come into a harbour. That one's gone to a dentist.
It's got its bridge sorted out.
It has. Very good. Very good.
Isn't that fantastic? The old rigging. Not quite sure what the inflatable dinghy's doing.
Oh yeah.
Chap back there told us the Phoenix is for sale. So if you've got a spare 400 grand, it could be yours.
You know, all the years I've been coming to Penzance, never been to the lighthouse.
No, I didn't know how to get here. Actually got a fantastic view from here. The whole of Penzance feels as though it's laid out for you to kind of identify. You've got St Mary's Church, you've got the dome of Market House, and you can kind of see the fall of the main street as it comes down to the railway station and then going out of Penzance towards Cornwall. So this quay is where the Selonian berths. There's a big clue here, the rope on the floor which secures it to the quay, and then you have the gangplanks to help the passengers alight. Behind this railing is a dry dock, and they need access through the harbour to get the ships into that space back there. So there is a swing bridge and a very noisy lorry, and we're now about to go over that swing bridge that allows access in and out of the harbour. Well, the left-hand side anyway.
Are we on track, Sarah?
Yeah, so it says notice the old lifeboat building and then go immediately left and left again along a cobbled area called Abbey Slip.
Did you know, Sarah, that a few years ago they were renovating the warehouse here called Abbey Warehouse?
Right.
And I think it's now office space and a restaurant. But they actually discovered in here some secret tunnels. There was two of them, in fact. And they went under the building and they actually went up. And they came out, when they investigated it, they came out in the Admiral Benbow pub where we were earlier on. At 300 yards.
What was that used for?
Well, smuggling, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they reckoned, when they went through them, they were only like 2 foot square at the tunnel, so they were obviously really
Small.
narrow. They must have been sort of pulling things up with ropes and stuff like that, I reckon.
Oh, I guess.
But they reckon that was all carved out by local tin miners.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
So the Admiral Benbow is at the top of this street here.
Just up there.
Yes. And somewhere went through this face,
Yeah.
rock face, to the Abbey Warehouse. And there's water here. It does make sense that it would be a smuggling route, doesn't it? Oh, how naughty! Love stories like that, don't you? Where you can actually corroborate tales of smuggling. What a beautiful building. Suggestions that it could have been the Old Abbey, which is what gave the street its name. Oh yeah, look. Actually called the Abbey.
Did you see the door knocker? It is a hand, it's brilliant. So that's called the Abbey. Do you think that was the Old Abbey then?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably was, wasn't it?
It's a hotel now, isn't it?
Gorgeous, isn't it? Love the colour.
Hello, that's the Admiral Benbow where we were earlier.
So where do we go now then?
Straight across, heading for Regent Square.
Still shut. I will come back later.
Tucked away in a back street in Penzance, you will find Regent Square. It's literally a square of Regency buildings, and they are kept beautifully. They look fantastic. The gardens are immaculate. It's like another world, and it's absolutely fascinating trying to figure out how they've carved up the space to give each one a bit of garden. What do you think then? Do you have a favourite?
I do actually. Actually, look, that one really squeezed into the corner here.
Let me come behind you.
This is number 8.
Yeah.
The creamy coloured one right in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Look, there's gate for number 8.
Yeah.
There's gate for number 9. They share the same pathway. Talk about cramming them in.
Looks so enchanting, doesn't it? You just want to go through that archway. Kind of like the double-fronted ones. Look at that. I bet they're a pretty penny though.
So you have more expensive taste than I do.
Okay, but you don't know that that isn't just sideways on and goes out the back.
Oh yeah. Like a TARDIS.
Yeah. Come on, let's go to the gardens.
One you like's all front.
All showy.
I can't say that. Where are we going now then, tour guide?
Okay, so we're just going to go down this little road about 20 metres and follow the sign to the gardens, Morab Gardens, and there we're going to have a bit of picnic lunch.
Nice. You being a sign?
Yeah.
The book tells us, Sarah, it says Morab Gardens derives its name from the Cornish for seashore. The Pidwell family built a house here in 1841, and in the late 19th century the Penzance Corporation bought it for use as a public park, with a house being rented out to the library.
Bench review. Too sunny. Full. We want one in the shade. Fenced off. bench gone. Perfect.
Lunch.
Indeed. Beautiful hydrangea. It comes out lime green, and as it matures it gets a blue centre. Exquisite, isn't it? As you walk down this road, it is quite noticeable that it's arty. It feels like an art colony. Just at the bottom of this road, in a little cottage that looks adorable, is the house of Alfred Wallace. Alfred Wallace was a painter. You may have heard of him. The little house behind me with the yellow windows, that was the house where Alfred Wallace lived with his wife. His wife was quite a lot older than him. She had a grown-up family. Some of her children were the same age as him. Started out that he was just a lodger. Then they married, and after she died, she was such a poignant part of his life that he began to paint almost compulsively on anything he could get hold of. Cardboard, teapots, even the bellows by the fireplace. And he used old tins of paint that the fishermen had given him. He created quite naive style, and it was discovered by some of the more modern St Ives colony friends of Barbara Hepworth. So there was Nicholson, he discovered them, bought his pieces of art, and it kind of kept him having an income. At the time his art wasn't popular, it's only subsequently that he's been regarded as the kind of resurgence or creator of the naive art. So a lot of his paintings depicted his experience of life, didn't they?
Yeah, well, he went to sea when he was very young. He was about 15, and he was actually going on big ships all the way from Cornwall, from Penzance here out to Newfoundland. So eventually he came back to Penzance, and that's where he met his wife. And you explained that she was a lot older. But they got married in the church we were in earlier on, St Mary's Church, in 1876.
So we leave Alfred Wallace's gorgeous little house behind, and we're going to go back around Market House and up Causeway Head, which is shopping precinct.
Oh, okay, yes, where the cinema is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the imposing Methodist chapel that you see here now, this is the High Street Methodist Church. It's built in 1879 and was originally the Bible Christian chapel. And we're taking the road there, High Street.
So this is High Street?
Yeah, so in most Cornish towns, High Street or Fore Street tends to be the main shopping street, doesn't it? But this is all residential, and Causeway Head that we just walked up is where you find all the shops, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. The touch. They're still selling alcohol in the old brewery yard. And that about completes our walk. I can see Humphrey Davy statue ahead of me. And for the observant amongst you, if you looked at that clock this morning, it said 20 to 9. It now says 20 to 2.
Yeah, we were in the pub for 3 hours there.
Oh, I wish. Our walk today comes from Town Walks in Cornwall. It's walk number 13, Penzance, 2 miles. We start here in front of the Humphrey Davy statue, and we wriggle our way down Chapel Street all the way down to Jubilee Pool, coming back through the gardens, Causeway Head and back to the statue. I'll walk around Penzance along back lanes, main street, shopping centres, the seafront, you had it all today.
So much history in Penzance. I mean, it's a shortish walk, it's only a couple of miles, but it's had a lovely time.
And remember to look up, the buildings are amazing. So the instructions work, the map, we didn't refer to it often, but when we did, it was helpful. What was
They
useful?
put some useful bits of information in there, historical bits of info, so that's good. I think it's a 9 out of 10 for me. I think the only thing it detracts is a bit short.
Oh, well, I think I'd give it a 10.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a bit short, so yeah, all right, we'll make it a 10.
To help us grow our channel, please subscribe and consider supporting us on Patreon.